Young ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you from your respective places, wherever you may be in the world. The situation is serious, more than serious. I don't even know how to describe what the Israelis are experiencing right now as I speak to you. After the emergency call from the American ambassador in Israel, urging American citizens to leave Israeli territory by any means possible, following that, Benjamin Netanyahu's government has been ordered to disperse across the entire Israeli national territory. They are dispersed. Yes, they are not all in the capital. They have dispersed out of fear of the boss, out of fear of Iran, because Iran is no longer joking around. Because Iran has missiles capable of targeting them wherever they are and then personally delivering them their ticket to eternal rest. Ladies and gentlemen, while some say, no, Israel is dominating Iran, is striking here, is striking there. Yes, it's true that there are Israeli strikes on Iran, but we've never ever heard of businesses and other significant operations shutting down in Tehran. We've never ever heard of an embassy asking its citizens to evacuate by any means possible or to leave the country immediately. We've never heard of ministers scattering within the national territory out of fear of being hit by a missile. This is more than enough compelling and undeniable proof that the nation of Iran is indeed subjecting the state of Israel to something that Israel truly never anticipated or expected to face. Something Israel has never experienced in its entire existence. And this is starting to prove Iran right, as they said that if Israel dared to attack them, they would regret it for all eternity. This is one of the rare times, if not the very first time, that an Israeli government has fallen apart like this. In any case, as far as I know, though I could be mistaken, please correct me if I am. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation is getting serious. This is the issue we will be discussing in this video conference. But before we continue, before we dive deeper, I ask you to take the action that motivates. Give this video a like and share the video conference as much as possible. That's it. Share it in every group you can. That's it. And above all, don't forget to always leave your opinion in the comments. So let's dive deeper, ladies and gentlemen. It is only out of fear of Iranian attacks that Israel has taken preventive measures. They call these preventive measures. I even wonder, are they even holding cabinet meetings right now? I wonder, are they holding cabinet meetings? The widespread dispersal of Israeli ministers, significant piece of information that was prominently reported by the reputable news organization Al Jazeera, which in turn cited the Israeli Channel 14 as its primary source, clearly indicates that the various ministers serving within Benjamin Netanyahu's current government have indeed scattered themselves across the entire geographical expanse of Israel, moving to different locations throughout the country. This measure was reportedly taken out of fear of a targeted Iranian attack, potentially a decapitation strike aimed at Israeli leaders. I'm not going to repeat the word twice. They fear that they might be targeted with the aim of it just hits, it takes at a part. So there was an emergency government meeting. This dispersal took place in the context of an emergency meeting held by the Israeli government. The fact that the ministers gathered in different locations across the country highlights the high level of concern and the perception of a direct and imminent threat. The ministers are dispersed. When they hold a meeting, I believe it's by video conference. Is there a fear that goes beyond that? Is there a concern that goes beyond that? So, throughout this time, according to the announcement made by the chief of the general staff, yes, the conflict will continue and citizens must prepare for an extension. So, during the extension, one minister will be in Singapore, another in Jakarta, another in Dokunkun, and then they hold meetings remotely. I'm telling you, This conflict is even affecting the very functioning of Netanyahu's government. But the Western media refuse to talk about it. No, but I will provide you with all of the raw information right here. That's what hurts them. That's why they reduce our visibility. And that's why I always tell you, to get around it, you always have to share. That's it. They reduce our visibility. They don't want to provide clear and reliable information. They always give one-sided information. Yes, whatever suits them. But the real truth on the ground, they don't like to share. So how do you think a government like that, a country, can function this way? Yeah, ministers who abandon their ministries to go settle in the interior of the country. But I wonder, do you think that's a good solution? Do you think that with this, they'll be spared? Iran doesn't joke around. Iran has missiles with unmatched intelligence. Missiles that dance in the skies. And if we can put it this way, in an anaphoric sense, missiles that wonder, that think, that know which path to take. When these missiles detect blocks and obstacles along the way, they change their trajectory. Missiles that draw patterns in the sky. Drawing dragons and all that has become a trivial thing for Iranian missiles. If Iran wants to, Iran has 3D maps of all the cities, the map of Israel. If Israel wants to target a minister inside the country, well, it's easy. It's a piece of cake. That's done in no time. For Iran, that's as easy as drinking water. But that's not the solution. They should rather try to take a step toward peace. Yes. There you go. Sorry. They should try to take a step toward peace. But this just shows that there's a lot of fear. They're afraid. I'm telling you, they're afraid. But some people still don't get it. That's why I want you to share this information, so it reaches the right people, so that people understand there's no real contest between these two. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the top story in international news. So please share it as much as possible. I'll be back with more news for you shortly. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.